I never thought attending my own engagement party would destroy my entire life. Yet there I stood in my parents' backyard, watching a stranger with my exact face walk through the gate. The champagne glass slipped from my fingers, shattering against the patio stones. Nobody noticed the sound over the music and laughter. Nobody except her. Our eyes locked across the crowd, and I watched my own expression of shock mirror back at me. She had my dark curly hair, my green eyes, even the small scar above my left eyebrow from falling off my bike at 8 years old. My fiancé Tyler grabbed my elbow, steadying me. "Babe, you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe, because standing 20 feet away, wearing a blue sundress and looking just as terrified as I felt, was someone who shouldn't exist. My mother appeared at my side, her champagne glass trembling in her hand. Her face had drained of all color. "Melissa, sweetie, let's go inside for a minute." But it was too late. The woman was walking toward us now, and I could see tears streaming down her face. The word came out as barely a whisper. "Who is that?" My mother's grip on my arm tightened painfully. "Inside." But I couldn't move. The woman stopped a few feet away, and up close, the similarities were even more terrifying. We were the same height, same build, same everything. "Melissa," she said, and even her voice sounded like mine. "I'm Olivia. I think we need to talk." Tyler stepped forward, confusion written all over his face. "What's going on? Why does she look exactly like you?" My father pushed through the crowd, his face red with anger. "You need to leave, right now." Olivia's eyes filled with more tears, but she stood her ground. "I've been searching for you for 3 years. Ever since I found my adoption papers in my parents' attic." The word, adoption, hit me like a physical blow. I turned to look at my mother, searching her face for answers. "Mom, what is she talking about?" My mother's mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. The party had gone silent around us. Every guest was staring. Have you subscribed to this channel? Please subscribe and click the notification bell. Give thumbs up if you are enjoying the story. Thanks for watching. "I was adopted when I was 3 days old," Olivia continued, her voice shaking. "My birth certificate listed me as baby B, twin B." The word echoed in my head like a scream. "That's impossible," my father said, but his voice lacked conviction. "We only had one daughter." Olivia reached into her purse and pulled out a folded document. "Then explain this." My original birth certificate. Mother's name, Patricia Morgan. Father's name, Richard Morgan. Place of birth, St. Mary's Hospital. Date, March 15, 1998. Twin A and Twin B. Those were my parents' names. That was my birthday. That was where I was born. I felt Tyler's hand on my back, but everything seemed far away, like I was underwater. "You gave her away." My voice came out stronger than I felt. "You gave away my twin sister and never told me." My mother finally found her voice. "It wasn't like that, Melissa. You don't understand what we were going through. We were 22 years old. We could barely afford one baby, let alone 2. The backyard had erupted in whispers. Tyler's parents stood near the gift table, their faces frozen in shock. My best friend Natasha pushed through the crowd toward me. "Mel, do you want me to call someone? Police? Lawyer?" I shook my head, unable to take my eyes off Olivia. She was crying openly now, mascara running down her cheeks. My mother stepped between us like a shield. "This isn't the time or place for this conversation. Melissa's engagement party is not the appropriate venue for your accusations." Olivia's face hardened. "Accusations? You separated twins and never told either of us. You robbed us of knowing each other our entire lives." My father moved closer, his jaw clenched. "We made the best decision we could at the time. We were broke. We were scared. The adoption agency said it would be better if the twins didn't know about each other." Something inside me snapped. Better for who? Certainly not for us. Tyler touched my shoulder gently. "Maybe we should postpone the party. Give everyone some space to process this." I turned to Olivia, studying every detail of her face. Close, I could see tiny differences. A freckle on her nose that I didn't have. Slightly thinner eyebrows. But the resemblance was undeniable. How did you find me? My voice sounded strange to my own ears. Olivia wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. DNA testing. I uploaded my results to one of those ancestry websites 3 months ago. You came up as a perfect match. I've been trying to get the courage to contact you ever since. 3 months. She'd known about me for 3 months while I'd lived my entire life thinking I was an only child. Why show up here? Why now? She looked down at her hands. I sent you 3 emails. 2 letters to your apartment. You never responded. When I saw the engagement announcement in the paper with this address, I just needed to see you. To know if you were real. My mother gasped. You've been harassing our daughter. I never got any emails, I said quietly. Or any letters. Mom and Dad exchanged a look that told me everything I needed to know. You intercepted them. The accusation hung in the air between us. You've known about this for 3 months and you hid it from me. My father's face reddened. We were protecting you. We didn't know if this woman was legitimate or some kind of scam artist. Olivia pulled out her phone with shaking hands. I have all the documentation. Birth certificates, DNA results, adoption papers. I'm not a scam artist. I'm her sister. Tyler stepped closer to me, his voice low. Melissa, I think we should go somewhere private. All of us. Figure this out away from everyone. I looked around at the crowd of guests. My future in-laws looked horrified. Tyler's grandmother was fanning herself dramatically. My co-workers from the hospital whispered behind their hands. This was supposed to be a celebration of Tyler and me starting our life together. Instead, it had turned into a nightmare. Everyone needs to leave, I announced, my voice cutting through the murmurs. Party's over. Sorry. Natasha immediately started herding people toward the front gate. Tyler's mother approached cautiously. Tyler, honey, maybe you should come home with us tonight. I'm staying with Melissa, Tyler said firmly. And I loved him even more in that moment. As the guests filed out, shooting curious glances over their shoulders, I turned back to my parents. Inside, all of us, we moved into the living room like strangers. I'd grown up in this house, but suddenly it felt foreign. How many lies had these walls witnessed? Olivia sat on the edge of the couch, clutching her purse. I took the chair across from her, studying her face. My face. Mom and Dad stood near the fireplace, united in their guilt. Tyler remained by my side, solid and steady. Start from the beginning, I said to Olivia. Tell me everything. She took a shaky breath. I grew up in Portland. My adoptive parents are wonderful people. They told me I was adopted when I was 7, but they said they didn't know anything about my birth family. When they died in a car accident last year, I found papers in their attic. That's when I learned about you. My throat tightened. I'm sorry about your parents. Thank you. Olivia's voice cracked. Losing them made me want to find you even more. They were my whole world, and suddenly I had nobody. Then I discovered I had a twin sister out there somewhere. I understood that feeling. The loneliness. The longing for connection. What did the adoption papers say? She pulled them from her purse again, handling them like precious artifacts. They said our biological parents couldn't care for both babies. That they chose to keep twin A and place twin B for adoption. I was twin B. The casual cruelty of it stunned me. They'd simply chosen one and discarded the other. I looked at my parents. How did you decide? Did you flip a coin? My mother flinched. It wasn't like that, Melissa. Then what was it like? My voice rose despite my efforts to stay calm. Explain to me how you chose which daughter to keep and which one to give away. Dad cleared his throat. You were bigger, healthier. Olivia had some complications at birth. The doctor said she'd need extra medical care. So you kept the easier baby and gave away the difficult one. The words tasted bitter. My mother's eyes filled with tears. We were terrified. We had no insurance, no savings. We could barely afford the hospital bill as it was. When the social worker suggested adoption, She said Olivia would go to a family who could afford her medical needs. Olivia spoke up quietly. I had a heart murmur. It resolved on its own by age 2. My parents told me they spent thousands on specialists, but it turned out to be nothing serious. The room fell silent. They'd given her away for a condition that fixed itself. Did you ever try to find her? Tyler asked. Ever wonder what happened to your other daughter? Mom looked away. The adoption was closed. We were told it would be better for everyone if we moved on. We convinced ourselves we'd made the right choice. I stood up, unable to sit anymore. My whole body felt like it was vibrating with anger. Better for everyone. I spent my entire childhood wishing I had a sibling. Do you know how lonely I was? Memories flooded back. Birthday parties where I was the only child. Family vacations where I sat alone in the back seat. Holidays where I watched cousins play together while I had nobody. You robbed us both, I said, looking between my parents and Olivia. You robbed us of 25 years together. Olivia stood too, moving closer to me. I used to have dreams about you. Even before I knew you existed. I'd dream about a girl who looked like me, and we'd play together. My parents said it was just my imagination. I turned to her, seeing my own pain reflected in her eyes. I had those dreams too. I thought I was making up an imaginary friend. Tyler cleared his throat. This is a lot to process. Maybe we should all take some time, cool down, and continue this conversation tomorrow. But I shook my head. No, I want answers now. What else haven't you told me? My parents exchanged another loaded glance. That look that said there was more. There was always more. Tell me, I demanded. My father sighed heavily. We got money. From the adoption. The room seemed to tilt. What? Not a lot, Mom added quickly. Just enough to cover our debts. The adoptive family was wealthy. They offered to pay our medical bills from the birth. Olivia's face went white. You sold me. It wasn't like that, Dad insisted, but his voice was weak. We would have placed you for adoption anyway. The money just helped us survive. Felt sick. Actually physically ill. Tyler grabbed my arm as I swayed. How much? Olivia's voice was barely a whisper. How much did they pay you? Mom looked at the floor. $20,000. $20,000. They'd sold my sister for the price of a used car. Get out, I said quietly. My mother's head snapped up. Melissa, please. We did what we thought was best. Get out. The scream tore from my throat, raw and primal. Both of you. Get out of this house right now. Dad stepped forward. This is our house, Melissa. Then I'm leaving, I said. I grabbed my purse from the table. Tyler was already moving toward the door. Olivia followed us out, and the three of us stood on the front lawn in the fading evening light. My parents watched from the window, their faces painted with shock and hurt. But let them hurt. I have an apartment across town, Tyler said. We can go there. All of us. I looked at Olivia, this stranger who was somehow the most important person in my life. Is that okay? I know this is overwhelming. She laughed, but it came out as a sob. Overwhelming doesn't begin to cover it. But yes, I don't want to lose you again now that I've found you. We drove in silence, Tyler's hand warm on my knee. Olivia followed in her own car, a blue sedan with Oregon plates. She'd driven all the way from Portland, just to find me. Tyler's apartment was small but comfortable. He made tea while Olivia and I sat on opposite ends of the couch, stealing glances at each other. This is so weird, she said finally. I laughed despite everything. The weirdest? You work at a hospital. She gestured to my scrubs visible through my jacket. I'm a pediatric nurse, I said. Been at Children's Memorial for 3 years. Teach 3rd grade. Just finished my 2nd year. We'd both chosen careers helping others. Something in our DNA, maybe. Some shared instinct. Are you married? Kids, I asked. She shook her head. Single. I was engaged once, but it didn't work out. He couldn't handle my grief after my parents died. I reached out tentatively and touched her hand. She gripped my fingers tight. I'm sorry you went through that alone. I'm sorry you grew up without a sister. Tyler brought us tea, then diplomatically retreated to the bedroom to give us space. He seems nice, Olivia observed. He is. We met 2 years ago when his nephew was in the hospital. He was so gentle with the kid, so caring. Fell hard. She smiled, and I saw my own smile reflected back. When's the wedding? September. Was supposed to be September. The enormity of the day crashed over me. I don't even know if we can still have it. After this mess. Olivia squeezed my hand. This isn't your fault. None of this is your fault. We talked until 3 in the morning. I learned that Olivia loved Thai food and hated mushrooms, just like me. That she was left-handed like me. That she had the same weird allergy to strawberries that I did. Our adoptive parents moved around a lot, she said, curled up under a blanket. Dad was military. I lived in 6 states before high school. I never left this town until college. So many differences, but underneath them we were the same. Cut from the same cloth, just raised in different worlds. What were they like? Your parents? She smiled softly. Amazing. Dad was strict but fair. Mom was creative, always doing art projects. They adopted me because they couldn't have biological children. They loved me so much. Guilt twisted in my chest. I'm glad you had good parents. Your parents aren't evil, Mel. They made a terrible choice, but they were kids themselves. Scared kids. I knew she was right, but I wasn't ready to forgive yet. Maybe I never would be. Tyler emerged around dawn. You two should sleep. Couch pulls out. We lay in the dark, Olivia and me, whispering like children at a sleepover. Do you think there are more? She asked suddenly. More what? More siblings. More secrets. The thought hadn't occurred to me. I sat up, heart pounding. We should ask them. Demand the truth about everything. Tomorrow, Olivia said. Today I corrected, checking my phone. 6 in the morning. We'd been up all night. Called my mother. She answered on the first ring, voice hoarse. Melissa, are there more? Any other siblings you forgot to mention? Long pause. Well, just you two. Swear. I want to see every document. Birth certificates, hospital records, adoption papers. Everything. Melissa, it's 6 in the morning. I don't care. Bring them to Tyler's apartment by noon or I'm never speaking to you again. I hung up before she could respond. Olivia watched me with wide eyes. You're tougher than I expected. I laughed bitterly. I'm a pediatric nurse. You have to be tough when kids are dying and parents are falling apart. This is nothing. But it wasn't nothing. It was everything. Mom and Dad arrived at 11:30, carrying a banker's box full of papers. Dark circles shadowed their eyes. Neither had slept. Tyler made coffee while we spread documents across his dining table. 2 birth certificates, identical except for baby A and baby B. Hospital records showing twin girls born at 2:17 and 2:19 a.m. Adoption papers signed 3 days later. The agency said it would be easier if you never knew about each other, Mom said quietly. They said twins often struggle with separation, but if you didn't know, you wouldn't miss what you never had. That's horrible logic, Tyler said. Dad nodded. In hindsight, yes. But we were young and desperate, and we trusted the professionals. I found a photograph tucked in the bottom of the box. 2 tiny babies, wrapped in hospital blankets. Identical. You took a picture. Olivia leaned over my shoulder. That's us. Mom reached for it with trembling fingers. Kept this one photo. I couldn't let go completely. Sometimes I'd take it out and wonder what she looked like. She was happy. Anger warred with sympathy in my chest. They'd made an impossible choice in impossible circumstances. But they'd also lied to me for 25 years. You should have told me, I said. When I was old enough to understand, you should have told me. We wanted to, Dad insisted. So many times. But as the years passed, it got harder. How do you tell your daughter you gave away her twin? Olivia spoke up softly. You could have started with I'm sorry. Mom turned to her, tears streaming down her face. I'm sorry. God, I'm so sorry. Not a day went by that I didn't think about you. Didn't wonder if we'd made the right choice. You didn't, I said flatly. You made the selfish choice. The easy choice. There was nothing easy about it, Mom said. Held you both. Fed you both. And then they took her away and I thought I'd die from the pain. The raw emotion in her voice cracked something inside me. Then why didn't you fight to keep her? 'Cause we couldn't. Dad's voice rose. We were drowning in debt. Living in a one-bedroom apartment. Working minimum wage jobs. My parents had money, Olivia said quietly. They gave me everything. Private schools, music lessons, family vacations. I had a good life. Something in her tone made me look closer. But I always felt like something was missing. Like there was a hole in my life I couldn't explain. I understood completely. That same hole had existed in me. We could have filled that hole for each other. If they'd let us. The apartment fell silent. Tyler refilled coffee cups. Mom and Dad sat hunched and defeated. Olivia traced her fingers over the birth certificates. I don't know how to move forward from here, I admitted. I'm so angry, but you're still my parents. And Olivia's my sister, and I don't want to lose her again. You won't, Olivia said immediately. I'm not going anywhere. I drove 12 hours to find you. I'm not walking away now. Tyler spoke up. Maybe you all need family therapy. Professional help to work through this. It was a good suggestion. Practical solution. But part of me wanted to stay angry. Wanted to nurse this wound. My phone buzzed. Natasha's name flashed on the screen. I'd forgotten about the outside world entirely. I should call her back. She's probably worried. I stepped onto Tyler's small balcony. The morning sun was warm on my face. Oh my God, what happened? Everyone's talking. Is it true? Do you really have a twin? I filled her in, my voice mechanical. Saying it out loud made it feel more real. That's insane. How are you holding up? I honestly don't know. It's like everything I thought I knew about my life was a lie. Do you want me to come over? I looked through the window at Olivia, who was laughing at something Tyler said. My sister. Had a sister. Actually, I think I need some time with her. With Olivia. But thank you. After we hung up, I stayed on the balcony, letting the reality sink in. My parents had given away my twin. They'd taken money for her. They'd lied to me my entire life. But they'd also raised me. Loved me. Been there for every milestone. When I went back inside, Mom was showing Olivia photos on her phone. Baby pictures. First day of school. Graduation. This was Melissa's 10th birthday, Mom said, zooming in. She wanted a princess party. Olivia smiled sadly. I had a princess party for my 10th birthday too. We're wearing almost the same dress. They scrolled through more photos, finding strange parallels in our separate lives. Same Halloween costumes, different years. Similar hairstyles. Both of us holding up science fair ribbons. It's like we lived parallel lives, Olivia murmured. Connected but separate. I sat down beside them, looking at my own history through new eyes. In every photo, every moment, half of me had been missing. Dad cleared his throat. I know we can't undo the past. Can't give you back those 25 years. But maybe we can move forward. Be a family. All of us. Sounded nice in theory. Messy and complicated in practice. I need time, I said. Time to process this. To figure out how I feel. Mom nodded. We understand. Take all the time you need. After my parents left, Olivia and I sat in exhausted silence. Tyler ordered pizza and we ate mechanically, too tired to taste it. I should probably head back to my hotel, Olivia said around 7. Get some real sleep. Panic flared in my chest. When are you leaving? Going back to Portland. She smiled. I'm not leaving. I took a leave from teaching. Told my principal I had a family emergency. I'm staying as long as you need me. Relief washed over me. Stay here. Tyler has a guest room. It's tiny, but I'd love that, she interrupted. We spent the next week attached at the hip. I took time off work and we did everything together. Museums, movies, long walks where we talked until our voices gave out. Olivia met my friends. I showed her my favorite places. We created new memories to fill the void of lost ones. Tyler watched us with quiet joy. Never intrusive but always supportive. You two are amazing together, he said one night. Like you've known each other forever. We have, I said. We just didn't know it. On day 8, we drove to St. Mary's Hospital where we were born. Stood in the parking lot looking up at the maternity ward windows. Somewhere up there we came into this world together, Olivia said. And 3 days later we were torn apart. I squeezed her hand. But we found each other again. That has to count for something. We talked about our parents more rationally now. The anger had dulled to a ache. They were kids raising kids, Olivia said. Making impossible choices with no good options. Doesn't make it right. No, but maybe it makes it understandable. I wasn't ready to forgive them completely, but I was ready to try. For Olivia's sake as much as my own. That night I called Mom. Can you come over tomorrow? You and Dad. All 4 of us need to talk. Her voice cracked with relief. Course. Thank you, Melissa. The next day felt like family therapy without the therapist. We sat in Tyler's living room and aired every grievance, every hurt, every question. It was painful and necessary and healing all at once. I want you in my life, I told my parents. Both of you. But things have to change. No more lies. No more secrets. Dad nodded. Complete honesty from now on. We promise. I turned to Olivia. And I want you to be part of this family. Really part of it. Not just some add-on. She wiped her eyes. Like that. Mom reached out tentatively and took Olivia's hand. I know I can't be your mother. You had wonderful parents who earned that title. But maybe I can be something. Friend. Family. I'd like that too, Olivia whispered. We ordered Chinese food and looked through more photos. This time we laughed instead of cried. Shared stories instead of accusations. It wasn't perfect. Probably would never be perfect. But it was real. The wedding planning resumed with one major change. I want Olivia to be my maid of honor, I told Tyler. He grinned. I was hoping you'd say that. Natasha graciously stepped aside, claiming she'd rather just dance anyway. The next months were a whirlwind of dress fittings and flower selection, made twice as fun with my twin by my side. September arrived with golden sunshine and cool breezes. My wedding day. I stood in the bridal suite, Olivia adjusting my veil. We wore matching smiles. In the mirror I could see both of us, identical and different, separate and united. Thank you, I said. For finding me. For not giving up. Thank you for letting me in. For forgiving Mom and Dad. For making space in your life. You were always in my life. I just didn't know it. Natasha poked her head in. It's time. You ready? I looked at Olivia one more time. My sister. My twin. My missing piece. I'm ready. We walked down the aisle together, Olivia ahead of me leading the way. Mom and Dad sat in the front row, tears streaming down their faces. Happy tears this time. Tyler waited at the altar, his eyes bright with love. But before I reached him, I turned back to Olivia. Thank you for coming to my engagement party that day. For being brave enough to show up and tell the truth. She smiled, and I saw my own joy reflected. Thank you for not throwing me out. The reception was everything I dreamed of, made perfect by having Olivia there. We danced together, laughed together, made up for lost time with every moment. During the toasts, Olivia stood and raised her glass. I spent 25 years not knowing I had a twin sister. Not knowing I had this incredible person in the world who shared my DNA and my face and my soul. When I found out about Melissa, I knew I had to meet her no matter what. And now I can't imagine my life without her. She looked at me, eyes shining. They say you can't choose your family. But if I could choose, I'd choose her every single time. I stood and hugged her, both of us crying happy tears. Around us, guests applauded and dabbed their eyes. My parents held hands, witnessing the reunion they'd prevented for so long but finally allowed to happen. Tyler pulled me close as the music started again. You got your sister back. I did, I agreed, watching Olivia dance with my father. And it changed everything. The moment my secret twin was revealed had destroyed my old life. But from those ruins, something better had emerged. A family that was honest. A bond that was unbreakable. And a future where I'd never be alone again. Have you ever had to face a hidden truth? Have you been in a dark situation about your identity? How would you react to the realization of what has been kept away from you for so long? What would you have done differently? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell for more Reddit stories. Like and share with others. Thanks for watching.